too. It's lovely to be able to meeting with you and to read to you again. I wonder what you're doing at home today. I imagine you're getting on with your online learning. Of course you are, because you're so diligent and faithful. But I wonder where you're sitting. Are you in the lounge room? Have you pulled up onto a comfy couch somewhere or a bean bag? And those of you who are watching here at school, just settle in, find a nice position. Take a deep breath, everyone. And out through the mouth. One more. All right. It's Friday. And that means that tomorrow is Saturday. And the next day after that is Sunday. We get 2 days of rest. I'm going to read to you a book that I had when I was a little girl. And then I read it to my kids because I just love it so much. You'll notice when I read it to you that some of the pages are very worn. That's because it's had so many people look at this book. But let's read this book. It's called Daniel the Reluctant Duck. Daniel the Reluctant Duck. A story by Denise Burt and photography by Harworth Bartram. Daniel's mother explained for the third time, "Ducks are outside birds, Daniel. They don't live in houses." But Daniel didn't agree. "I don't like ponds. I want to find somewhere cosy and dry. I want to be an inside duck." It was no good. She could see that he was determined to leave home. So she said, "Goodbye, Daniel. Please look after yourself." Daniel waved goodbye and set off to find a warm, dry home inside. On the other side of the farm, he found just what he wanted. It was a small wooden house with a sloping roof. That roof will keep out the rain, thought Daniel. There were some letters painted above the door, but Daniel hadn't learned to read. He was excited because he'd found just what he wanted so quickly. He flapped his wings and jumped up the step. Butch was in his kennel having a sleep, but he woke very quickly when a little yellow duckling hopped in and nearly landed on his nose. Butch growled, "Go away!" But Daniel got such a fright that he almost flew out of the kennel. A barn was nearby, and he raced into it to escape from the barking monster. When he stopped puffing, he saw some straw on a ledge. "What a nice dry home that would be," Daniel said, and he hopped up. But before he could get close to the straw, Mother Hen charged at him. She chased him away from the nest she had prepared for her eggs. Daniel ran out of the barn as fast as his little legs would carry him. Will I ever find a warm, dry house which doesn't already belong to someone else, he wondered. He waddled up to the back door of the farmhouse. The house looked very large to Daniel. Surely there would be room for a little duckling somewhere in there. He was very tired now and wanted somewhere to sleep. In one room he saw something round on a bench. He looked inside and saw it was filled with something white and soft. "This will make a nice bed for a tired duckling," he said, and hopped in. But Daniel was too young to know that flour is used for cooking, not for sleeping in. When he had shaken the flour from his feathers, he began his search again. This time he had more luck. He found a room with a small bed on the floor. It was just the right size for a duckling, and he felt sure it would be cosy. So he climbed in. The bed was soft and Daniel felt warm and safe. "I've found the right place at last," he said, and fell asleep. He was woken by a voice calling, "Mummy, there's a little duck in my doll's cradle." The mummy called back, "He must have wandered away from the pond. We'd better take him back." Although Daniel quacked loudly, saying, "I'm an inside duck, I'm an inside duck," he was very carefully carried back to the pond and put on the water. Daniel quacked again, and the mummy said, "He's saying thank you. Isn't that nice?" And Daniel quacked louder than ever. He's probably still there, quacking loudly and wishing people could understand quacks. I wonder if there's been a time in your life where you're a little bit like Daniel, the reluctant duck. There might be something that you really don't want to do. I know for me that it's tricky at the moment. There are all sorts of things that we're being asked to do that we don't necessarily want to do. Daniel kept protesting for a long, long time. He did not want to be in the pond. He did not want to live on the water. I wonder if he might have been happier if he'd kind of accepted, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be, and looked for all the good things that he could do on water. There's so many things that ducks can do on water that no other animal can do. They can swim, they can dive and catch fish. I bet there are plenty of other animals that can't do those things. I wonder what positives you can find in the situation that we find ourselves in today. You're learning from home or in a classroom with not many of your friends there, but there might be some really great positive things that you can find in that circumstance. What a great opportunity if you are home to spend some extra time with mum and dad, or to spend some extra time with your brothers and sisters. And if you're at school, what a great opportunity to get to know some other people a little bit better. I hope that if you're finding yourself a little bit reluctant, like Daniel, I hope that you can find the positives in your situation today. And there are plenty of positives to find. Every day, God gives us a new day. He gives us a new day to experience life and to experience His creation. So I want you to take a moment now to just thank God for everything that He's given you today. If you are in your class, maybe you can do that with your teacher. And if you're at home, maybe you can just do that quietly by yourself. That's fine. Take a moment to list out a few things that you can be thankful for today. All right, I'm going to leave you to do that. I'll see you next week. Goodbye, everyone.